Welcome to another episode of Talking with Kevin and Son. We feature people you should know. Hi, I'm Kevin Mclemore. I am your show host, four-time published author and award-winning author, motivational speaker. Some of my friends call me a mindset messenger. This episode is brought to you by RMK Productions and the 10 United Podcast Network. Our mission is to give power to your voice, inspire, share stories and experiences, perspectives using the framework of teaching, learning, and modeling. In short, we showcase people you should know. Our purpose is simple. We help other people every single day. That's what it is, it's hope. So, for our listeners, let me tell you, whatever your objective, successful people create a framework around their day-to-day lives. And sometimes they enhance their lives. And many times, like my guest today, I have two, they pour into others. This podcast will reveal the secrets of what it takes in order to make a difference in someone's life or to change someone's life. Today's guest, he's a talented comedian. He's a talented writer. He is the co-host to the Steve Martin's morning show. And for better or worse, he is a superhero when I tell his story. He is also part of the America's team, Dr. Niihara. He is a doctor that studies and has created, I can't even think of what the right words for it, but I will say that those of us that are living with sickle cell anemia, or some of us that have people that we know that have sickle cell, he has created an answer for someone to live a quality life. So let me welcome to the show a talented comedian and activist, co-host Steve Harvey's show. I almost gave Martin his own show. And the medical Houdini, who also has developed, like I said, a drug to help people with sickle cell anemia. But many may be the reasons. This show may be the reason why your life will change today. And I am happy to welcome my guest, my friend, Kiera. And it's late for me today. And Dr. O'Hara is sitting over there in Zurich. It's late for him or early for him today. Kier Jr. Spates, comedian, Dr. Yutaka Niihara. I hope I got this right. Mm-hmm. And the show today is all about saving lives. So welcome to the show, both of you. And thank you for joining me.
Oh, man, thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much, sir. This is an absolute pleasure for me. Anytime I get to talk about sickle cell and make a difference in somebody's life is worth it. Time does not matter at this point. Very important.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, the hardest part is when I get another professional that's on the media and knowing that, you know, you are part of a world stage, a big stage, and all of a sudden I get a chance to talk to the man, the junior, or whatever, I get a little tongue-tied because the little man in me is like, I'm talking to Junior, I'm talking to Junior. And the other part is that, Kevin, stick to your lines, do your lines. But Junior, I want to say this to you, and you're a gift. And the reason why I say you're a gift, because most people that have the trait or have active sickle cell anemia, people don't realize because it's such a small number, but it's a big number. So in 2008, the U.S. government paid out more than $80 million to the research of sickle cell anemia. In 2020, the U.S. government paid over $80 billion to cancer research. There is a big discrepancy as to why such a small amount has been paid. And I know the answer is because who the disease attacks. So, Junior, if I happen to open a bottle up that just walks ashore, I'm sitting over in the Hamptons with a couple of friends, and the bottle comes up, and there's a message in the bottle. And this is Junior's story. You know, should have passed away before 11 and now thriving and living at 40. What would that message be in that bottle?
Man, that's a great question. If you just happen to open that bottle and you would see my story and it would say all things are possible. You know, regardless of sickle cell, regardless of what happened to me or how it happened to me, I should say, the way we found out, the way it was discovered, the way everything had shaped out, it happened the way it was supposed to. because it takes something so negative and so horrible to trigger what needs to be triggered inside of me to excel despite the odds. It needed to happen that way. It needed for me not to find out at birth and be diagnosed at 7 because my parents didn't know what to do either. When a doctor tells you that your child has sickle cell disease and he's 7 years old, they didn't catch it at my birth, but I was born July 18th, 1978. So it wasn't not really known for us here. So they tell your parents at 7, your son, let's just say he won't make it to 11 years old. So don't even plan on life for him. And so when my parents told me that, and they were shook, they were really shook. At this point in time, my mom has graduated from nursing school. My father's working for Southwestern Bell. There's only one income. They have another child, my sister, who has a trait. She was 3 at the time. So they're a very young couple, not really versed in all the ways they should work in a marriage. They just only been married for about a year. I mean, 7 years at this point. They don't really know what to actually do at this point. And it's scary because you have a 7-year old, they're saying in 4 years, the boy is going to be gone. You have the girl and don't plan a life for him. Well, something triggered my parents and they let me do everything that I wanted to do. If I wanted to play Little League baseball, football, run track, basketball, whatever that I wanted to do, they allowed me to do it. They were just empowering me, but they were only thinking that they would empower me because they thought I was going to die at 11. It's the only reason why I was doing all these things because it was like, well, he has sickle cell. He can't play basketball. That's not good for him. They said, okay, well, he's gonna play anyway. He can't play football because that's really strange on his body. He can't do those things. I said, well, he's gonna play football. And what they were doing was empowering me not to even think about sickle cell, not to even understand that this could actually kill you. And one doctor asked me, like, you let him do all these things. Why you do that? Why would you risk his life? He could die. And my mom said, well, if he dies, he'll die doing something he loves. Wouldn't we all like to go that way? But
Yes,
something
sir.
happened. Kevin, something happened. I made it to 12. Do you imagine it? I didn't know what death was at 11. I didn't understand that. Didn't understand any of that. Never talk to your kid about death. Nobody does that. No parents are saying, hey, listen, this is what happened when you die. Because we don't know. We had no idea. But I made it to 12. And I'm sitting there saying, well, I'm over my limit. I'm over my limit. And then I messed around and made it to 15. I still don't know yet. But it could be a little delayed. I don't know. But then I made it to 21. And I'm sitting there saying, wait a minute, hold on. I'm 10 years past the deadline. Wait a minute, I'm 10 years past my deadline. I'm not supposed to be here. I started doing stand up at 19 years old because that's what I really loved doing. That was my calling, that was my passion. And here I am 2 years. I've already been on television one time already. I mean, I'm on the fast track. Then I make it to 30. Now I know for sure somebody lied. And now can you imagine, Kevin, they've been doing this to kids and families for a very long time, which is snatched the hopes and dreams from families. Every time I would end up in the hospital with a sickle cell crisis, everybody would have to take off work. That'd be my grandmothers, my uncles, my aunts, and they watch me lay there and suffer, and they can't help me. And then here I am feeling bad because I've cost an entire family $22,000 of salary in one day. Now imagine if I'm in there a week. See, it's just not the disease that just ravages the person. It destroys a family too. It puts a stress and a strain on the entire family focus, the whole nucleus. Now, I'm just one. If you think about the families that have 2 and 3 children, I don't know how they make it. They constantly have to spend their time in hospitals. They constantly have to worry about what doctors say. There were so many different things I didn't even understand at that point in time, but I'm very well versed in it now because I've been hospitalized over 100 times in my life with sickle cell disease. So no, I'm not supposed to be this far. I'm not supposed to have this wonderful life. And I've noticed when I started speaking on behalf of sickle cell patients that the mindset was not like mine. because they always felt that they were going to die. We're all going to die, but prematurely to this disease. They didn't have a focus. I just kept hearing it over and over. They told me this. This is my number. I'm supposed to be this, and I'm doing this, and I don't know if I can do this, and I can do that. And I'm sitting there saying, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You can do all things. All of them are possible. Doesn't the doctor doesn't hold your life in his hands? That's God's job. If you have this disease, I'll know you one thing I know about people with sickle cell disease. They have an intestinal fortitude beyond anything you could ever believe or imagine. If I owned a company, I would hire these people first because they don't understand the word quit. Because they've been told it their entire life to quit. In everything that we do, quit. Quit everything. What do you mean you want to be a writer? Quit. Not what happened. Remember, you're going to be out of here in a minute. What do you mean you want to own a company? Quit. That's not in your cards. You have to sit here and wallow in sorrow and pain and disappointment for the rest of your life. No, you don't. No, you don't. They just told you a lie that they wanted you to believe. You were never going to die at 7 or 11 or 15, whatever magical number they come up with their mind. You was never going to die there. You were always meant to be something more. You were always impossible. So if you open the bottle, the message will say all things are possible. All of them. Because I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you. I have a beautiful life. I have sickle cell too. And there's many more of us that are doing some amazing things around this whole world with the same exact disease. And that's the importance of understanding that it is all possible. Every last inch you can imagine. God does not differentiate because he has sickle cell. I asked God about that one time too, man. I was really struggling with this. And this is the honest God truth, and I'll share this with y'all. I asked God in his infinite wisdom, why me? Why me? I wanted a normal life too. I didn't want to spend a lot of my life in a hospital. And God says, why not you? Who better? Give me somebody else better, Kier. Give me somebody else better. And you know why he asked me that? Because he knew I didn't know anybody else. He knew I didn't know anybody else. That's why he could say, why not you? Because he knew I'm the only one I know that has it. How smart is that? And then I think about the experience that I had to go through. Well, everything that I had to go through was for me to get in my middle age to come back and tell other people, you can do this too. There were no examples. There was always some shame about this disease. There was everybody who didn't want to talk about it, who were ashamed to admit to it. I just wasn't. But I'm here to tell you, yeah, you're right. It's not anybody better than me. It is a possibility that you can do these wonderful things. I'm living proof. Touch me. You can see. Walk with me. I'll show you. These things are things that I'm doing currently today with sickle cell disease. Now, do I have to live a different way? Yes. Do I have to prioritize my health, my stress levels, everything? Yes. But man, if I didn't do what I'm doing now, I would love somebody, if I was in my position, I would love for somebody to come along and tell me, hey man, forget what that doctor told you. 11 ain't your number. Man, you're gonna have a fantastic life. Somebody that restores hope back into you, that gives you the opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to live a dynamic life too, despite of the fact whatever happens to me. And that's the power and the will that you have to have when you live with this disease, because you can't sit here and wallow and be upset because you have it. But God gave it to you for the one reason only, that you can do some things that other people complain about that you would never complain about because they never walked a day in your shoes. I don't really care if the light bill is red or pink or they're going to cut my lights off. They almost cut my life off a minute ago. And that's the
Mm.
mindset you have to have.
Dr. Nihara, I'm going to
Yes.
ask you this question in two ways. I'm going to ask you as Mr. Nihara, the human being, and then I'm going to ask you this question as Dr. Nihara, the researcher, the medical researcher. When you hear, and this is one of many stories, Junior story is one of many, 1.6 million in the United States. When you hear the numbers of who else is affected by this across the globe, is staggering. And then you'll see the number I gave you about the 8 million, $80 million that's being directed to research, not a cure, research for sickle cell anemia. And look at the disparity of the 80 billion that's done for research for cancer. No part did I say it was a cure. As a human being, as a man listening to Junior at the age of 40 today, knowing that someone told him at the age of 11 he was going to die as a human being. How does this story affect you? And then explain to our listeners what exactly is sickle cell anemia. I say it's the overlooked diagnosis, underfunded diagnosis, no motivation for a cure diagnosis, and who gives a crap about the people that have been diagnosed. As a doctor and as a human being, how do you feel when you hear Junior's story? And as a doctor, how do you feel? And tell us what sickle cell anemia is and what role you play in it. I actually said two questions. I asked three. Junior, I will tell you, I was funny as crap before we got
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
All
man. That was funny too, because I said two questions too.
right. Doc, and matter of fact, I want to tell my listeners to give you some idea how far we expand on this show.
Sure.
He's in Zurich.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you. First of all, let me correct the number just a little bit. 1 in 2 people in this country suffer from cancer sometime in their life. So, let's say that the lifetime chance of about 150 million people getting cancer. On the other hand, sickle cell disease, at any point in this country, we have about 100,000 people. So it is true that the size of our population is much smaller, yet the discrepancy that you had discussed is much bigger than the difference between number of cancer patients versus number of sickle cell patients. So there is a discrepancy in funding.
Well,
Why?
I will tell you this big secret. It's a black person's disease. So when you talk to us, that's the reason I say no one gives a crap. But go ahead,
Yeah.
doctor.
Well, thank you. Well, this is a part that politically incorrect for me to say. It's a related. That's why the funding is less. But
Now,
what
will
can
you
I
say
say?
that again and not be politically correct?
Yeah, I
Will you say
guess
that
it.
again? Because
Yeah,
I am so sick of sugarcoating facts and the
yeah,
truth.
that's right.
We need,
Yeah.
in order for the change lives right now, we need to
Hmm.
be honest with the people.
Yeah.
Because, I went through and did my own um, um, solicitation of how many people knew anything about sickle cell, you know, and very few Black people knew about it. I had some that were affected, had some with traits. When I talked to anyone that was not Black, no one knew anything about it. And I had one person in Canada because she has a daughter with the trait that knew anything about sickle cell,
Yeah.
but they don't know
No.
anything about your story.
So, in US, sickle cell disease is still considered rare disease. However, worldwide, it's a huge disease. Among Black people, though, sickle cell disease proportionately is a disease that affects a lot of people if you just look at Black people only. And it is a devastating disorder. I like to make it fairly simple. When I first encountered sickle cell patients, I was telling patients, oh, you're taking too much narcotics. Let's try and see if we can reduce it together. I wanted to be as compassionate as I can, but obviously I was not believing the severity of pain that they're experiencing. And this is true for many other doctors, and this is how I was taught. And I don't want to say this is due to racism, but I'm sure some of that is part of it. The part where I really felt the racism is when the patient is doubling up with the pain in the emergency room, and the doctors can say, "Oh, that's nothing." And when I heard that, I really felt bad. And then I looked into sickle cell disease a little bit more as a young physician, and I said that, oh, their pain, their suffering, and all these things are true. And then I started to see people actually, Kier is very fortunate he's able to do all these things. Many people become incapacitated and die at relatively young age. And I said, and then is there anything about that we can do about this? $80 million a year is not small amount of money, but what I saw was that how was this $80 million spent? Were they really being spent for the patients? Or, I hate to say it this way again, but is it to promote the researchers their own work? Because researchers, if they publish, you know, on whatever, then they get promoted. But to really work toward making patients better versus doing research to promote themselves is two different things. Then I started to think about HIV. HIV was a relatively new disease when I was in medical school and early phase of my training. They were dying left and right. But then before I was fully done with training, HIV became a disease where nobody really talked about. When I first started medical school, HIV was just such a scary disease. But you know how medical school is, 4 years of medicine and 6 years of training after that. So in 10 years' time, when I first started medical school, HIV was a new thing and people dying left and right. And then it was like that for many years. But at the end of 10 years, nobody was dying from HIV, you know? Such a devastating disease, and they were able to find way to eradicate all the problems of HIV. So today, we say that having HIV is better than having diabetes or having even blood pressure problem. Why can't we do the same thing for sickle cell disease? And well, while it's really nice to come up with treatment that is so fancy and also very, people call it sexy, but then it's just not applicable to sickle cell patients. There are many treatments that came up like this. For example, stem cell transplantation, it's really nice. But if you can find a donor, yes, you can cure sickle cell disease. But in most cases, you cannot find the donor. And not only that, but it involves possible complication and even death, and cost is in millions. Gene therapy, yes, it's nice, but where are the sickle cell patients? They're in the jungles of Africa, or I would say jungles, but where the doctor's not available, or like at least they don't have a hospital where they can do gene therapy, because gene therapy is not a very simple therapy. You have to really put the patient through what we call conditioning therapy, which is almost equivalent of killing a patient and reviving them. There aren't too many places that can do this. It really requires very sophisticated, specialized hospital. Millions of sickle cell patients in Africa and India, can they afford this, or can they find a place to do this? No. So we had to look for treatment, just like what the HIV doctors did. Find something that's fairly simple you can take by mouth and be able to suppress all the problem that sickle cell disease is causing. Just like we try to control the blood sugar in diabetic patients, because if the blood sugar is controlled, then they won't develop all these strokes or heart attacks or other complications. If we can somehow let sickle cell patients' blood to flow through our system like everybody else, then we can resolve this. And when I looked into this disease and with the guidance of my mentors, there are a lot of things we can do for sickle cell disease. Why people haven't been doing this? Um, that was always a question for me. But I said, okay, I won't listen to those people who say I cannot do it because there are many people who said I cannot do it. And to make a long story short, we found a simple therapy after studying sickle cell disease because we figured out what's lacking in sickle cell disease. And that really changed the lives of a lot of people who are under my care. And I eventually got the approval by the FDA. But we don't want to stop here because I can already think about 10 other treatments that it's simple enough to make sickle cell patients' lives better. But I don't need all 10 of them. I just need to add one or two, and I believe that most sickle cell patients are not going to suffer hardly at all, just like how things changed when two or three medications were used for HIV. And I can already picture this. And actually, I tried some of these in my patients and it really worked well. I just don't have enough cases to really, demonstrate to the world. But each individual treatment, very simple, hardly any side effects, and I combine them. I have a feeling that we're going to reduce it because L-glutamine therapy that we developed, pharmaceutical grade L-glutamine therapy, it reduces cases of what we call acute chest syndrome, which is most deadly complication of sickle cell disease, by 63%, not in lifetime, but in 1 year. Can you imagine somebody who is at risk of having heart attack? We can reduce their chance of having heart attack this year by 63%. I mean, that's a miracle. But that's what we're doing for sickle cell disease.
Believe it or not, if you can do that, you can save me too.
Wow.
I'm at risk on that. Junior, it'll probably come better coming from you than Doctor, because I want to find out why the two of you guys are on this show. But the question that I'm going to ask you, because you're living with it, explain to our listeners exactly what sickle cell is. Describe or give our listeners some idea what it feels like, what your world's like, and what people are going through that's been undiagnosed, and how we misdiagnosed to this product, and then prelude directly of how you and Dr. Niihara came together and why we're even doing this show. If you can do that for our listeners.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so sickle cell is like this from Kevin, a lot of your blood cells are yeah, your blood cells are whole, they're circle.
Right.
They're very simple. And so you have no problem with your blood flowing through your body. Well, I have some circular ones too, but then I also have these ones that are shaped like a sickle on a blade, like you cut wheat with, like a sickle, or
Mm-hmm.
like a crescent moon.
Right.
Well, in my blood vessels, sometimes these guys get together and they'll have a party. I call it like a block party because they're blocking blood flow. They get a block party going, and then some of my blood cells are trying to ease through there, and they're just stuck in my veins and everything. And that's where the pain starts in my hips and my joints and places like that where they have to bend and you know, they just start a block party. So blood's not flowing, and that's the area of pain I'm in. That's where I mostly start hurting. Now, what level of pain are we talking? The only way I can even get people to understand is just do something physical that you can tangibly look at. It's like being somebody just pushed you off the fifth floor of a building. That's a pretty long fall. And you hit the ground. That's the first chart of pain. But then when you stand up, a truck hits you at the same time doing 30. And that's a pain. That's the pain. It's almost like you can't touch me in those areas. You can't, you know, can't move. And then there's a lot of things that trigger those things. Of course, dehydration is an issue. Also, one of my triggers is cold weather. Like right now, it's really nervous for me, because we're in the teens, and that's right around my dangerous level. Then also another trigger for me is stress. Stress is a trigger. I don't care if it's good stress or bad stress. That's why I have to stay even keel sometimes because all of these things could be triggers for me. And then a lot of people I talk to with sickle cell, everybody has different triggers, but I know that cold weather is really a big one for us. There's things I don't even do anymore, like swimming, cool water. Can't can't get in that either. You know, and nobody thinks about like, well, I thought everybody could go swimming. Well, we just can't. We can go swimming, but it got to be at high noon. Gotta have warm water. But I don't go swimming. I don't even chance it anymore. Like those are the things that have really shaped your entire life. Like when everybody's having fun, like go to a pool party. I don't even dress to get in the pool at pool parties. I just dress so I don't get thrown in the pool. I don't want to go in the pool. I don't even take the chance. Nobody thinks about getting up in the morning, putting their hand on the window just to check to see what the temperature is outside. That's just a habit of mine every morning I get up and do. That tells me how I'm going to dress today, even if I'm going to take the chance of even going outside. Those are things that people take for granted, but it does. It shapes our life. So when I found out about not a horror, another doctor came on the morning show, Dr. Corey Aber, and he talks about this drug called Endara that I had never heard of.
Now the morning show is you and Steve Harvey, right?
Yeah, the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Yeah. So Dr. Aber comes on there and we talk about Endara and we talk about what it's doing. Because we're always trying to empower people on the Steve Harvey Morning Show. And so Dr. Aber says, hey man, I want to introduce you to Dr. Niihara. Dr. Niihara invented this drug for people like you. And so then I got on it. I started taking it, man. And I'm telling you, within a month, I could really feel a difference because, chronic fatigue is something I have to deal with a lot of times. Like tired for no reason. Because what does red blood cells hold? Oxygen.
Oxygen.
Yeah. So sometimes when you're low like that, you just have this chronic fatigue. Well, after taking Endari, I saw my energy level just creeping up. I get up in the mornings and I could go all day till about 9 o'clock at night when it's time to go back to bed. I wasn't used to that. It was like, what is going on? And so I started taking this. So then Nahara was the CEO of a company and he asked me to be the spokesperson for his drug to help other people with sickle cell. And I did. And we did a bunch of things. We started a podcast called Living Your Life to get the word out about Endari and what it was doing for people like me and myself. Because some of these other therapies I didn't want to do. I like something that was oral, you could take. I didn't want to go, and because a lot of people understand when he was talking about all these therapies, and this is something I could represent for a group of us. Now, I don't know if everybody else how the other treatments work for everybody else, like hydroxyurea and all these things. I didn't take those things. I was taking this one. I just going to speak on this one. And you started doing that, and it started people started catching on to it. And people were telling me, I found out that I wasn't the only one taking it. It was a lot of us that were taking this drug, and we understood what the effects of it were and how it was really helping improve our lives. And that's how me and Dr. Nahara had connected.
All right. Dr. Nahar, what is this medication? What does it do? What is the side effects? And how do people get it?
It's a pharmaceutical form of L-glutamine and amino acid. Well, this is something that we take in our diet, fairly large some amount, it's in the protein, but sickle cell patients really needs a lot more than most people, and that really helps them. And this is currently available by prescription in the United States. It's not available in rest of the world. So Kier and I are trying to bring this over to India and Africa right now. So in order to do this, I left my company that I founded. This medicine side effect is very minimal. Um, so far, no major side effect noted that's associated with this medication, but it can cause low bloating in the stomach and constipation. So if that happens, then there are a lot of things you can do. You can just take fiber or take the laxatives. But in most cases, sickle cell patients tend to be on the looser side in terms of their, the bowel movement is. So then actually this even helps them more too. So it's very interesting. You can consider this essentially food, although it's considered pharmaceutical. It's covered by insurance companies, and it reduces, as Kier said, reduces the number of crisis, hospitalization, acute chest syndrome, and increases energy. No major side effects that's associated with this medication.
Let me ask this. I already know the answer to this. So I'm going to ask a stupid question because someone's going to call me and write me and ask, um, how do you get sickle cell? Do you catch it? Can you shake your hand and get it?
Mhm.
Um, how does it happen? How do you avoid? I know it sounds stupid, but you have
No,
no
it's not
idea
stupid. This
some
is
of the things
very
that
important.
I hear because
Yeah.
as soon as they find out you got sickle
Mhm.
cell, it's just like COVID. People
Yeah.
walk
Yeah.
30 feet away from you, and now everyone, if you're wearing a mask, they didn't want to tell you. My younger brother was one of the first people to get COVID, and they treated him
Oh,
like a leper,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
So,
and he was devastated. Now that people are finding out you got sickle cell, oh my
yeah.
gosh,
Yeah.
ain't shaking Junior's hand. Get
Yeah.
right.
get some of that sickle cell. You know
No,
the way black people are.
this is
Yeah,
not contagious at all because this is
I can't get it
genetically.
from shaking hands.
No.
No, you can't, unfortunately. Yeah. So this is passed on from generation to generation. And there's a reason for this because this was actually preventing people from having malaria. That's why this gene flourished in the area where malaria were quite prevalent, in like again in India, Africa, and the Middle East, you know. But unfortunately, it had other devastating side, which is sickle cell disease. So, um,
Now,
and
Doc,
it's
let me ask this
genetic.
question. Because I'm getting a little nervous here. Why is everything bad happen to black people?
That's interesting question. Yeah, I wish I had the answer for that. But one thing I can say is that, again, I hope nobody will take me wrong.
No,
Some of
if
the
you don't want to
disease
say it,
that,
I'll say it.
yeah, some of the disease that affect Black people, I guess, at least up to this point, we didn't put as much effort in actually getting cure or something that suppresses its condition. Um,
Well,
yeah,
I'm gonna say it more
mm,
much more prettier than
okay.
you. It's because it doesn't affect anyone lighter or brighter, so it doesn't become a priority. And for it to be a cure, you have to lose someone that you love that looks like you. If you lose someone that's different from you, you don't consider it a loss. But enough of me sitting on my Shetland pony over here. But what I want to say is, can we cure this?
You can cure this through gene therapy, but still the gene can get passed on to the children. So I don't know if you can call that the cure, but gene therapy is going to be available to very, very few people, and this can cause some of the complications too. However, just like diabetes cannot be cured today, but people with diabetes, they don't die in their 20s or 30s anymore. Um, and we can make it so that the people with sickle cell disease can live symptom free. That's what I truly believe. I think we can work toward that.
All right. And so how close are we getting to the point that we can improve the quality of life of people? I think you said there's 70 something odd percent in India that is affected by this and some other countries.
Yeah,
Uh,
like 28
I,
million
I,
people in India is affected, and we can make their lives better, starting with L-glutamine therapy. And then I'm thinking about combination therapy, which are these other treatments are already available actually. So it's just a matter of starting with appropriate funding. And I try to do this in India or Middle East, where studying the trial, medical trial is going to be a lot cheaper. I'm hoping that within next, 3 to 5 years, we can complete this and we'll be able to provide sickle cell patients hope, or people think that people don't talk too much about sickle cell disease as this deadly disease. Well, the problem is that many people don't even know that sickle cell disease is actually a deadly disease.
you're
Uh,
exactly right. That's why I said
yeah.
my impromptu research study, which I got no
Mhm.
government funding for, no grants were available for the study I took upon myself. So I made an investment in this. You're right. People don't know about this, but I'm looking at it from a different point of view. You said funding. Um, it is hard to get a grant. It is hard to get government support. But I do know, I've had a couple interviews today when I'm talking to filmmakers and people that are doing other great things that can't get funding from pharma or any place else. But I do know there is 286 million people here in the United States, 8.4 billion people in the world.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of those people, if they had an opportunity, because we're talking about building legacy and as part of our everyday conversation, becoming financially independent and, our education, being entrepreneurs. Some people say king entrepreneurs or queen entrepreneurs. But I do know that there's some of these things that wealthy people have access to in investing in research, and they can reap the rewards. Because I know if I put money into cancer research and all of a sudden there was a cure on one end, my return on investment will be sky high. I
Yeah.
cannot imagine what the return of investment would be if you allowed the everyday person,
Mhm.
a group of people put together $100 and put together a small S corp and invest in this, and what the return on their investment would be if there was actually, you know, some way to make life easier, to more comfortable, to where they have a
Mhm.
daily life and working towards eradicating this altogether. Is this a pipe dream on my end or is it reality?
Well, that's a dream that I've had for 30 years now, and it's really coming to close. Well, I did start with the government grants, which was really nice, government understood, but it takes a lot more money than just a government grant, especially if you try to do this in the US. We are trying to launch this, at least it's one medicine in these countries where sickle cell disease is so prevalent. And once this gets moving, I think we can generate our own money. But in order to get this into a business, I do need help from people who care. Um, well, Kevin, thank you for your commitment to people like Kevin. If each of us put small amount of money, um, well, it's going to happen.
Well, this is what I'm going to do. And Kira, you're Junior. I'm quit calling you Kira, Junior. You're a brother from another mother. All
Yeah,
right.
man.
I've lost two close friends to sickle cell, and they could not afford medical care, and they lived a horrible life. That's the reason why I asked you to describe it, because I need people that have money to give. My grandfather always said, and I'll say this at the end of the show, so I'll repeat myself. When you get to a point in life that you can help someone else out, it is your duty to do so. It says reach one, teach one. So right now for my show, I'm going to give you my platform anytime you need to come on
Oh,
Oh,
thank you.
to tell this story. Normally, I reserve this for people with sponsors that are given to me. I'm going to be in your corner. I talk about the circle of people that are in your life, or people there that take from you. The people that are in your corner, the people that give to you. So
right.
if I can ask, I like to be in your corner. If you would be so kind to put together some type of financial, or provide a financial opportunity where the everyday person can
Mhm.
invest in this company, all right, I will promote this on my show and I will tell you,
Right.
I'll be the first person in.
Oh,
Oh man,
thank you so much, Kevin. Yeah,
that's
we'll bet. Go ahead, Kier.
good too.
Okay.
I'm with your grandfather. If I didn't, I would hate to think what the Lord would feel about me if I didn't do this. See, it's very different for me. I understand that there's 28 million people in India who are going through the same thing that I'm going through. 28 million. It's 20 million in Africa. It's only 100,000 of us here in the US. But the closer you get to Africa, the severe it gets, the numbers. And so, yeah, if I have an opportunity to absolutely change the world, to absolutely change the world, to speak on behalf, if they were for the voiceless, for the people who cannot, who don't have a platform, who are looking for somebody to say, "Can you make this stop?" And I didn't do it. I mean, I really just said, "Forget it. I'll just worry about myself." if I really did that, I would be doing a disservice to not only the Lord, to you, Kevin, to Dr. Niihara, to the people who suffer, to the ones that we did stand up to the doctors who threatened us, the ones who took our lives, the ones who caused the pain and hurt to our families. I would be doing a disservice to all of them. And that's why I will do this for Dr. Niihara. November 15th, I'll tell you how we got started. November 15th of 2024, Dr. Niihara flew from Los Angeles. Now, I'll just go to tell you everything. Dr. Niihara left the other company. I'm still currently under contract with. But they breached the contract with no need of that. When Dr. Niihara left the company, they wouldn't even let me talk to him. I couldn't talk to Dr. Niihara. But November 15th, Dr. Niihara flew to Atlanta, where I'm at. And he said, I want to have dinner with you. I want to talk to you about something. And he comes to me and he says, Kier, I need your help. I'm starting a new company and I want to take this drug to the world. And he explained to me what the difference was between his old company and this new company. This has always been his plan, was to give this to the world. Everybody just didn't have Dr. Niihara's vision. It was not meant for it just to stay in America. It was meant to go to the world. And he started a new company to do so. I thought about it. I tried to think about the pros and cons of it. And all I found out was God just kept pressing me like, you better go do this. He asked me to help him raise the funds. And I was sitting there, Kevin, I was like, I've never done this before. I don't know how to do it. And all God said was just open your mouth. And if I tell you the people that we have that's already signed up for this company, in the short time that we've been doing this, we've raised over $200,000 already. You know, the crazy part about it is that's just 19 people.
Well, and that's what I'm going to tell you. Every big idea has started with a group of small people. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm motivated to do this. And you've mentioned, because I'm true to my faith. You know, I had an opportunity in life. Someone brought to me and says, if you have a little extra money, $1,000, he said, put it in this company. Because I'm a Black person. No one taught me about how to invest and how to get a return on your investment. I overlooked it. The company, it was called iOmega. $1,000 would have changed my life financially.
Yeah.
The second opportunity was presented again from another person that told me, says, as much money you can put into this. He said, even a minimum of $1,000. And $1,000 kept ringing in my ear. But to a Black man, especially a Black man that's a personal trainer, professional trainer, $1,000 investing in something you're not familiar with. It was a computer company. Knew nothing about Microsoft. I missed it. The third time, I had someone that was the accountant for a play and said that for $1,500 that you can invest in this play, they needed some financial assistance. I had the $1,500. I had the contract in hand. I signed the contract. And on my way to deliver it, I made one crucial mistake. And this is something I will tell anyone that's listening to this, is that anytime you have a dream, don't tell your dream to somebody else that doesn't have a dream of their own, that doesn't have great vision, because they will steal your dream. And he told me that plays did not make any money, and most of the time they broke even or didn't make any money at all. Wasn't a good investment. That play was called Rent. These are true stories. All financially look at that would have changed my whole life financially. Well, what I'm saying here to our listeners, I want to put together, and like for you guys, I'm just suggesting it, to put together a program that the everyday person can go ahead and make this investment. And I can almost guarantee you, understanding what investment in pharma will do within 3 years, that minimum of $1,000 would be life-changing for most people. Even if you have to get 10 people together with $100 and start an S Corp to do it, would do it. And that's the reason why I said I'm the first one in. And how you're successful with this, we are also, you raise up your hands like this, both of you. All right? Each of us. You have 10 fingers for a reason, because the closest people to you have a high call to action. If each and every last one of us reached out and told those friends that are closest to us, only the people that act, that are there for you, to put in $1,000. And then within an hour after they've invested, to ask people to do that to 10 of their friends within the first week. And then ask those friends to do 10. And ask that person to do 10, and that 10, and that 10. And do that every day for 30 days with 10 group of people, whatever. We will be one step closer to eradicating sickle cell anemia. That's how you change. All right, because I know that if Big Brother gets a hold of this, it's because it only affects a small number. What will happen is that program will remain dormant, underfunded, and people will die.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's that simple.
Yeah.
Um, the number of people, and Dr. Nahara is the world's leading doctor in this field. And I think about this, if this is not, you want to know what fate looks like, or destiny looks like, it looks just like this. As you can see, me and Dr. Hart look nothing alike. And I'm black, he's Japanese.
Like,
Well, to me, he looks just like he's got nose, he's got two eyes, he's got a mouth, he has
But
the same heart.
yes,
Your purpose unites us.
well, that's what I'm saying. The point I'm making is, what's the chances of us meeting? What's the chances?
If you believe in God, God puts two
Yeah,
people in space for a reason. The chances are high.
I'm talking about he's pinpoint accurate. First of all, a few things had to happen. First of all, I had to be born with sickle cell disease. That was the first thing that had to happen. When I was born, he was already working on it. He was already in training. He was already doing what he was going to be doing. I was doing what I had to go through. See, I'll tell you, you have to understand the accuracy here. What's the chances? 1 in 8 billion? That's the chance. 1 in 8 billion.
All right.
To even cross paths. 1 in 8 billion. Now I had to be born with it. He had to be the doctor for it. I had to go through all the mistreatment, everything. He had to hear the mistreatment and see it. What's the chances? I had to suffer. Therefore, I can know what to speak on. He had to see the suffering. So he knew what we had to speak on. We still haven't met yet. What are the chances? If you want to know if God is real, absolutely. The pinpoint accuracy and the timing of it. What's the one thing that we all been talking about? What is Representative Tim Scott say on TV? What they're going to do for sickle cell and all the other things? What's the chance? All of a sudden now they want to help African Americans with sickle cell. People like me who's been asking for it. I
It's
still haven't.
because
I still haven't met him, Kevin. I'm talking about what's the chances that
I
he would
know, I
develop
know.
a medicine that can actually help my life live longer. What's the chances of me getting on the Steve Harvey Morning Show to have a platform to talk about it? What's the chances here? You think it's not gonna happen? I already know it's gonna happen. It has
And
to.
and do you know why it's going to happen? Because there's a profit to be made. That's why it's going to
Absolutely,
happen.
profit to be
All
made.
right. And
Absolutely.
because of shows like this, and because of individuals like yourself, and allowing it to happen, it will happen at a much faster rate if you allow the people to invest in your company. Let me ask you a quick question. How do people get in touch with you, Junior, and you, Dr. O'Hara? Junior, you first.
Well, if you want to get in touch with us, we pretty much do it under the company, under the
Okay.
Harney. And you can email Dr. Nahara, and we will come back. If you give us the information where to reach you, our investment officer, Stephanie Wilson, will reach back out to you, and she will guide you through the steps of joining the company and being part of it. And I don't want us to get off of here without Dr. Nahara explaining to the people about what it is that you're offering them, Dr. Nahara. Please tell them how you're going to do this.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking on my show
Oh,
host.
you know what, man? It's the media
No,
in
no,
me.
no.
It
Hey,
was a
that's
media. I'm
okay.
sorry.
That's okay. I'm coming to your radio show. All right. I'm coming to your radio show, and I'm gonna return the favor.
You were
Dr.
talking
Hart,
to Joseph.
Okay.
I'm
Dr.
so
Hart,
sorry,
So,
Kevin.
just like Kier
he's
Spates
reading
and
my notes.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
will
I'm
you go
afraid
ahead
of
and
what
break this
to do,
down for
man.
me?
Yeah. So Kevin, yeah, you already have my contact information. So, and also, we'll give you the contact information for Stephanie, who is an investment officer. What we're asking,
Tell us how it works.
yeah. So if you could just email us, you're interested, then we're going to give you the terms of your investment. Right now, it's a convertible note, and convertible note, so it's a loan. We'll pay you back if you want us to just pay you back with small interest. But if the stock price goes up, then of course you can convert. Even if the stock price is $5, we're going to let you convert your stock, $5 stock for 75 cents. That's what our convertible note offers right now. So then, we process this fairly quickly. You just show us the evidence that you're interested, and you have, transferred the funds into our account. Just show us the processing paper, and then we're going to send you a contract with my signature, which is going to be good. We are planning to go into what's something called Regulation A. I don't have time to explain this, but we do plan to go public so that you will have some benefit and you have some exit. Just added a footnote. The reason why I'm in Zurich is because we are attending World Economic Forum. This means that our project is getting huge attention because you can look it up what Davos World Economic Forum and what type of people come here. Very exclusive meeting. And also, I don't mean to brag, but Harvard University have given me this huge award this last year, as well as UCLA. So, those two places recognizing our project means that this is something that people recognize. I just want to put a little bit of objective credibility out here. So anyway, reach out to us. I'm sure Kevin is going to send out our contact information, email, contact information.
I will have all that in the show description. I'm going to invite the both of you guys back along with your financial advisor to outline the program to let people know how to invest. Like I said, send me the information and I will make my personal investment, DocuSign, however you need it to be. We will come on and get rolling. I say to my listeners, to my fans that I have high call to action. I'm probably the only, and you have your radio show, you want people to subscribe and like. I'm probably the only podcaster that says to people, if you don't have high call to action and you're not in it to help someone else, do not subscribe. I want you to enjoy the show. I want you to take the content. I want you to share it, whatever. But I'm reserving people that subscribe for people that are going to reach people and it's going to help people. So if you're that type of person, I'm going to say go ahead and subscribe to my show. And so that way I know the people that are within my circle that are in my corner. Because my circle of friends in my personal life, if I call, they help. They don't ask questions. We have one rule within my circle. If you need me, I'll be there. Just don't hurt me. And that's the way that we work. Once you hurt someone, whatever, you are no longer in the corner. You're back in the circle. And it's tough to earn your way back in. So I'm always going to ask this, and I do it 99.9% of the people that's on the show. And I ask Dr. Ahar, you the same question. If you had one ask, and I'm going to explain to you why I'm asking this. And Junior, I'm going to ask you the same question. I'm going into my 4th year with this podcast. All right. I always say kindness doesn't have a profit to it, but I'm changing lives as we speak. I didn't know I was doing it. It was just me being arrogant. All right. And I'll call myself out because I know who I am. I've asked people because I had a bad experience that I drove by an accident. And because someone had taught me fear, because they said the risk of you helping a good Samaritan, you could be sued. I drove past that accident and later found out that it was my grandmother's brother that was laying on the side of a highway with his brain cracked open. And I said, from that day on, I am always going to be there to help someone else.
Mhm.
So with that story being told, is that when I ask people, they're asked, and so if you have one wish, one dream, one desire, and someone can help you. I've had 6 people that were guests on my show that total strangers have granted them their one wish. And most of us go through our whole life and never have one dream come true. So I want both of you guys to think about this for a little bit when I have that one ask. If you had one ask and you knew it would come true and someone could help you, what would that ask be, Dr. Niihara?
Okay. Right now, our goal is $800,000, and this is an investment. that will bring us to the next level.
That's easy. I know people have that. You should ask bigger. You need more money than that.
After that, we will go for
Get out of
50.
the wading pool and come into the deep end. I'm going to show you how to swim.
Okay.
Junior, Junior, please don't doggy paddle. Come in here, be an Olympic swimmer. Make your ass big.
No, this is my ass. I need people. I need people. I need people with great character, though. I need people who believe in the impossible because I've only lived in one way. Everything I've done in my entire life has been on the impossible end. Of course, we need more than 800,000. If you really want to know how much money we need 20 million.
Here you go.
$20 million is what we really need. But not only that, I want great people because I want you to come on this journey around the entire world and watch how country after country after country become a better place to live. Watch how you take sickle cell families, allow them to have children again, allow them to become part of a society again, to have a better quality of life, not to worry about hospitals again, for them not to worry about being mistreated by doctors again. Watch how the world changes right before your very eyes. And Dr. Niihara in this company is the one that's going to do it. Watch how we bring families closer together again. It's a journey. It's going to be a beautiful sight because I've seen the horrors. I've already been down that path. And that's why we're doing this. That's the ask I have. Just a high quality character people come down the journey with us. Come see this happen around the world. It's not a local event we're doing here. It's nothing in America. It's 28 million in India. It's 20 million in in Africa. It's 10 million in the UAE. Wherever there's people, sickle cell is thriving. So yeah, there's a profit. And it's called the world. This is the international company. It's not a American-based company. You don't have the same people. That is the principles. The people in the world invite us in because we solve a problem, not because we're going to become a problem. They need the help. But man, when you see societies thrive, that's how you make the world a better place. And that would be my ask.
And I think you made your ask, and both of you made it big. Tony Robinson said that that little backpack on your back, it's called a quill, and normally holds about 10 arrows in it. When I look at the fact that, I've had 3 opportunities to do things and make decisions that it will change my life. I probably have more opportunities for my personal life, love life, or friend life, or whatever. You know, Once you take out 5 quills, you got 5 quills left. For me, this is the one that's going to hit the bullseye. And that's the reason why I said, I can't ask you to do something that I'm not doing myself. I'm going to, like I said, send me the information. I'm in. I'm going to leave this seat open that you can come back every single month and give updates, share stories, bring guests in that are experiencing benefit from it, bring other doctors on this platform to talk. Let's get some momentum up. And I'm going to say to my listeners, you find those friends that have high call to action. You've got to come in first. The people that are listening to this podcast that are my friends, if you can't put a dollar together on your own, get a group of friends and form a small S corp and invest as a company itself. This is one of those things that, as far as humanity, you're going to get a return on your investment. You heard him say that at one point, after we reached so many dollars, that you name one company that's ever gone public, and watch what has happened to the people that were in when they took their first step into the industry. This is something that's going to save life. I want you to look in Junior's eyes, all right, and make sure at the age of 40, you can look in his eyes at the age of 45 and 50. You can look into his kids' eyes, his grandkids' eyes. When you look at Dr. Niihara, look into his eyes of a person that's investing his time. He's an award-winning physician, Harvard, UCLA. He adopted another human life to save another human life. The only way that we're going to change this world, if we collaborate, we come together, and we care. Someone says there's no profit in humanity. I'm saying you're a bold-faced liar. So with that said, we've given you a lot of information. If you like what you heard, if you like this podcast, go to RMK Productions and Network on our YouTube channel. And I'm going to say share. Share, talk about it, comment it, find someone that it connects to. If you got a person of a high call to action, then I'm going to ask you to subscribe. If you're a person that's got $1 and a dream, reach out to us and make the investment. Be part of the team. If you do nothing, you're part of the problem, no matter what skin color you are. And this is something that the everyday person can get involved with. So I'm going to leave you with this. To grow, you must make some mistakes. To be confident, you must address your own personal anxieties. To forgive yourself, you must hold yourself accountable. To learn, you must unlearn some stuff. To exist, you must show up more and you must be willing to do more. Understand the power of the words, which is the reason why I have this format. I'm asking you to take notes from me, the mindset messenger. My grandfather said, when you get to a place in life you can help someone else out, it is your duty to do so. He said, reach one, teach one. And with that said, I want to thank my two beautiful guests, Junior and Dr. Niihara. Thank you for coming to the show. So with
Well,
that
thank
said,
you.
you're welcome. We'll fade to black and we're out.
All right.